The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 4. I'm Tosin Fakile. Mark Hall has the afternoon off. Right now, tenants at a Dupont Circle apartment building searching for a solution to the building's rampant rat problem. We find our DC News Now's Randy Bass at the flats at Dupont Circle on N Street Northwest. And Randy, you heard from quite a few neighbors who are completely fed up today.
Yeah, Tosin, we did. Those neighbors telling us horror stories today. Rats the size of cats, running on their countertops, eating their food, running around the building and chewing, nibbling through their drywall at night. Some of those tenants we talked to today say they can't take it anymore.
I was like screaming bloody murder.
Rodents terrorizing tenants on almost every floor of the flats at Dupont Circle.
Having mice is one problem, but rats just like carry diseases.
Residents tell us they've reported rat problems to maintenance and management for weeks, and it's only getting worse. One tenant so fed up, he left evidence of the problem right where management could see it.
So I spent my own money on rat traps and literally caught a rat. It was like the size of a cat. It was huge, and left it in the leasing agent's office because I just wasn't sure what to do with it. They weren't really responding to maintenance requests.
Another neighbor,
all hell broke loose.
Hearing chewing and scratching noises in the walls as she sleeps.
I actually a few times slept on my balcony, but I've been sleeping with headphones in and white noise on because at least I won't wake up to the scratches because the amount of sleep so many of us have lost is crazy.
We reached out to the company who runs the building, Equity Apartments. They said, we are addressing a rodent problem impacting a small number of units at the property. We have been performing barrier sealing as well as utilizing our pest control vendor to address the issue.
Now, we heard from plenty more tenants and neighbors here at the flats at Dupont Circle today. They tell us there's a group chat of about 50 residents all banding together to try to do something about the problem and urge management to act. Some of them have already filed claims in small claims court. Live in Dupont Circle, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Randy, so disturbing there. Thank you for that report. Well, a 14-foot sinkhole in Arlington caused traffic delays earlier today. Officials are repairing the road along Wilson Boulevard between Randolph and Stewart Streets. Repairs are happening during the day, and officials say open traffic lanes will help rush hour directions. Now, the work, they say, may not be completed until Sunday. All right, we are coming up on Fall 3 this morning, taking a live look outside at the National Cathedral today. Not a bad day considering where we were yesterday. Let's send things over to meteorologist Damon Matson with a check on the forecast. And Damon, we are grateful for the break from yesterday.
We certainly are, Tosin, and some of the much more comfortable air that all of those storms brought us after they moved through last night. That cold front moved on. It's been amazing out there today. But we did get a little bit of an impact from these storms. Several reports of very gusty winds, especially across southern Maryland from those strong to severe thunderstorms last night. Thankfully, we didn't catch the full brunt of these storms. They were losing a little bit of steam, especially across our northern counties last night. But they also brought a good amount of rainfall that was much needed across the viewing area. We have been quickly going deeper into drought conditions. Now, we didn't see as much rain because those storms fell apart a little bit to the north. Totals were mainly less than a half an inch. Once you went north of the district, the heavier rainfall was found to the south, stretching across parts of Virginia into southern Maryland, where 1, even closer to 2 inches of rain came down last night. But now, throughout the day today, all has been quiet. There's the cold front that produced all of that activity last night well to our east, pushing offshore as we've gone throughout the day. That has given way to clear skies, and high pressure is starting to build in from the Great Lakes, and that is what's going to continue to bring in more comfortable air as time goes on. Temperatures are in the upper 80s right now. We will start to cool off toward the 70s as we head into the night with very low humidity in place. Now, the question is, can we keep these comfortable conditions around to wrap up the work week tomorrow? We'll have a full look at that forecast coming up here in just a bit.
Damon, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, we can. All right, well, new at 4, Fairfax County Police pulled over a driver who they say was going over 60 miles above the posted speed limit. Take a look at your screen. You can see the driver on the left of your screen, who police say they clocked going 117 miles an hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. They also say that driver had a fake license plate. Now, once they pulled the driver over, they say that person was arrested and taken to jail. In Montgomery County, developing now, officials there say several people have been injured in a crash involving a ride-on bus. This is video from that scene. It happened on Strathmore Avenue near Stillwater Avenue in North Bethesda this morning. Officials say all the passengers had non-life-threatening injuries. We have new data that shows an increase in pedestrian fatalities in the DMV. DC News Now's Yamari Sase is in Silver Spring with that latest data and how local leaders are trying to save lives.
Veers Mill Road had their speed limit reduced to keep pedestrians safe due to speeding drivers. In April, a man was arrested for hitting and killing a 27-year-old on the road directly behind me. And although Maryland and D.C. has seen an increase in pedestrian fatalities, a lot of residents say more needs to be done.
Cars shooting up Veers Mill, excess of 100 miles an hour sometimes.
Residents like David Myers don't feel safe walking in their own neighborhoods.
It's very frustrating. My son and daughter have to try to cross the street there. I've tried to cross the street myself and gotten stuck in the middle of the intersection or between the lanes for 3 to 5 minutes at a time because the cars are moving so fast.
According to the Governor's Highway Safety Association, more than 7,300 pedestrians were killed in the U.S. last year, and that's a decrease compared to 2022. But here in the DMV, Maryland and D.C. saw an increase compared to other states. Maryland's pedestrian fatalities went from 137 in 2022 to 161 in 2023. That's an 18% increase. DC's went from 19 to 20, but has seen a steady increase since 2019. But Virginia actually saw a decrease from 171 to 133 pedestrian fatalities. Now officials are encouraging pedestrians and drivers to be safe by reducing car speeds and lanes pedestrians have to cross, better street lighting for drivers, leading pedestrian intervals, banning right turns on red lights, and also increasing sidewalks. Myers says nearby communities can be models for change.
I drive out to Potomac all the time. All the residents out there, they have crosswalks, they have flashing lights, they have all the safe things because those are the affluent neighborhoods. But in the ordinary neighborhoods, they don't care.
We're now reporting in Wheaton, Maryland. I'm Yamari Sase, DC News Now.
Hi, Yamari. Thank you. To Virginia, where Governor Glenn Youngkin is making a push to support pregnant mothers. He's issued an executive order reestablishing a task force on women's maternal health. Now, Youngkin says reestablishing the task force will help evaluate maternal health data to help improve health outcomes for new mothers and their children. It comes as recent data from the March of Dimes shows Virginia's infant mortality rate, defined as the number of children who died before reaching their first birthday. They say that number was higher than the national average, with 6 babies out of every 1,000 live births failing to get to the age of 1.
We struggle with access. There are many maternity deserts within Virginia, especially in Southwest Virginia, where there are only about 4 or 5 delivering hospitals, and many counties don't have delivering hospitals. And that's not unlike places like Georgia, where half the counties don't have delivering hospitals. So that's always a struggle. Payment's a struggle.
Now, the task force will be responsible for delivering recommendations to Governor Youngkin and the General Assembly in Virginia by December 1st so they can consider during the next year's General Assembly session. Well, a popular grocery store in Rockville will close for good this weekend. Dawsons Market has been a fixture in the community for over a decade. Today, DC News Now's Kevon Dupree spoke with store management and customers about the closure.
Dawsons Market here in downtown Rockville will permanently close on Sunday after serving the community for the last 12 years. Shoppers say they're devastated by the news.
It's kind of like almost like a death in the community.
We're all going to really miss them. It's very sad.
I think it's going to be a big loss for the community.
People in Rockville preparing to say goodbye to their favorite organic grocery store.
I'm very sorry it's leaving.
Dawsons Market briefly closed in October 2018. It reopened 2 months later after Bart Yablonsky bought the store. Yablonsky says the landlord ended the lease and has different plans for the property. He says it's hard to deal with the fact that this time, Dawsons will be closing for good.
We're really sad to be leaving. We've got a lot of staff here that are looking for employment and a lot of customers we've built relationships with over 12 years.
Customers say they'll miss Dawsons for many reasons.
It's my favorite salad bar, and they have a lot of unique things.
A very pleasant place to be. It had everything you needed. The prices were fine.
They have a particular type of tortilla that we really can't get anywhere else, so we always come here for tortillas and for some of the more natural dairy products that we can't get anywhere else.
Yablonsky says he's truly appreciative of their loyalty and support.
Unfortunately, it's nothing we can do about it, but hopefully we'll get to see some people and say our goodbyes over the next couple of days.
Yablonsky says Dawsons will partner with the universities at Shady Grove to provide catering services. There's been no official word on the landlord's plans for the market location at this time. Reporting in Rockville, I'm Kevon Dupree, DC News Now.
All right, Kevon, thank you. We're going to talk sports now. On day one of the NBA draft Wednesday, the Washington Wizards were extremely busy acquiring draft picks and players throughout the course of the night. Sports director Derek Forrest is here with all the details from night number one. Hey, Derek.
Yeah, it was a busy night for the Washington Wizards on the first day of the draft as the team was busy before it even got started, trading Deni Avdija to Portland for Malcolm Brogdon and several picks, including the 14th overall pick last night. Now, once the draft got underway, the Wizards had 3 picks in the first round for the first time ever. The picks were headlined by the big man Alex Sarr out of France, who turned heads over the course of the year. The Wizards then followed it up by selecting guards Carlton Bub Carrington, who is a Baltimore native out of Pitt with pick number 14, and Keyshawn George out of Miami with the 24th pick. And at the end of the night, General Manager Will Dawkins was happy with day one.
We'll always be aggressive. We'll always try to be strategic. And when you have time to prepare, you kind of identify your players and the people you want to go get and do your best to go get them. Sometimes it works out. It takes 2 to tango, as you know. But we try to identify people first, try to identify talents, and if we can get them, we're going to get them. So I think you've seen the last 2 years that we're willing to move and go get who we want to get.
Now, the NBA draft wraps up this evening as day number 2 is already underway. At this point, the Wizards do not have a pick in the second round, but it doesn't mean they are done. If they were to make a move, we'll make sure to update you with all the latest news. Tosin.